Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is another fantastic day in Ireland. I'm going to have to keep doing these videos unfortunately because I'm afraid if they stop, the fine weather will stop, then it's raining, then it's back to water coming into the caravan. Someone asked me recently for a little tour of the caravan. I can tell you lads, it wouldn't be worth doing it because the monetization of it would be over in about 10 seconds. Maybe someday we'll go around, maybe I'll do a little tour of the caravan and the house. You have to be a real Irish traveller. To be a real Irish traveller, you need to have the house and the caravan, do you know? So you can go from both in between. Today, lads, I'm going to touch on a little thing about what type of physique do women really want? And as a man, I have no idea. But luckily for me, I have a little fella called ChatGPT. And we all know ChatGPT knows everything and it's extremely wise and it knows all. But what is it that women really want? Is it the big fella, the big shoulders? Is it just the good looks, which most of us strongmen unfortunately suffer fate to? Is it the two big W's, big wallet, big willy? A lot of us suffer a horrible fate as well. So I'm going to pick someone from each class. So we're going to go with a strongman, obviously. We're going to go with a CrossFitter because why not? And because it was in the last video about a marathon runner, we're going to go with a marathon runner. So we're going to see which physique it is that women want. So I typed into ChatGPT and I said to ChatGPT, well, what's the crack? What are you up to today, you cunt? And I said, what is the most attractive physique to women? Because I don't even think women know what they want half the time. So it said, when it comes to the most attractive male physiques to women, preferences vary by culture, individual taste and context. Now the context here was very particular to me, and it gave an example of context. It said short-term versus long-term relationships. So I said to ChatGPT, I said, hang on a second there, you cunt. What do you mean about this context, this short versus long-term? What are you talking about? Short and long. Is it height? Or is it the length of the other fella? I won't say. I keep getting demonetized, lads. I'm going to have to stop swearing. Stop making me swear. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of an idea to know when I'm dropping the C-bomb. Oh, I could just say C-bomb, but it's not the same. It's not the same as cunt, is it? No, it's not. Just said it again. So I said, what do you mean by short-term versus long-term relationships? How is this associated with physiques? But apparently it is, in a weird fucking way. Great question. This comes from research in evolutionary psychology and attraction science. Here's how physique preferences can shift depending on whether a woman is considering a short-term, which means I give an example, casual or sexual. Short term means I just want to be the Mickey for a couple of weeks and that's all you're used for. Versus long term, example, committed relationship. So long term is, I suppose the name is directly wrote on the tin. She wants a fella she can see a future with, down the road, that you're going to not be a fucking cunt. Do you know what I mean? A fella she can marry, a good dad, and all these fucking other things. So it's short-term attraction. Women often show stronger preferences for more muscular, dominant-looking men in casual or short-term contexts. Why is that? Why is it you're looking for a muscly fella for a little bit of a short-term, but you're willing to settle for a fat alcoholic for a long-term? Evolutionary theory suggests traits like muscularity and dominance signal good genes. No. But then wouldn't that, to me, that would make me want to think that they want a long term with this fella because he has good genetics and he'll throw out a good one. Do you know what I mean? A good child, I mean. Good genes, physical health, and the ability to protect or provide. Surely these are long term attractions. We're still in the short-term attractions now. These traits are often associated with testosterone. The big T. The big T that gets us in trouble with the small W. Not wallet either, lads. I don't mean wallet. I mean the fella with the purple washer. These traits are often associated with testosterone, which is linked to physical symmetry or short-term genetic fitness. So in short-term flings, women may be more drawn to sexier, more exaggerated masculine physiques. Example, very defined abs, big shoulders, low body fat. So lads, I think that's fairly cut to dry. If you're looking for the ride, you need to be less fat, you need big shoulders. It says nothing about your Mickey here or your wallet. So I think if you can, like, you can be all these things and be an ugly cunt, you know. So obviously there's nothing you can do about the ugly part. You can fix it and you can try and alter yourself a little bit. I wouldn't know, lads. I wouldn't know how to make yourself more beautiful because I'm already there. So let's look at some of the long-term attractions. For long-term relationships, the emphasis often shifts towards trustworthiness, warmth, and reliability, and preferences for extreme muscularity may decrease. So if you're in a bit of a long-term relationship, right, it might make you wonder, am I a soft-looking cunt? Because she's clearly looking for a fella that doesn't have any muscle. She's just looking for a fella with a bit of warmth. Sure, we all have a bit of warmth. The warmth kind of is there unless you're 6 foot in the ground, really, isn't it? A moderately fit, healthy looking body is usually still attractive but doesn't need to be extreme, which means the dad bod. That's why the dad bod. I see the dad bod trending a lot recently. A guy with a strong but not overly muscular build may signal a better balance of stability, emotional maturity. Oh, Jesus Christ, the big EM. I can tell you now, as an Irish fella with Irish friends, male friends, even as English, I have probably more English friends than I have American friends. That's one thing we all suffer a bit of faith to. The big old EM, emotional maturity. As you can see, lads, I'm not overly filled up with emotional maturity, unfortunately. But I make up for it in other areas, you know. I don't know. I can't say because YouTube won't let me. It'll be like, oh, no, Patrick, we can't monetize this video because you said cunt 14 times. You said you're talking about your Mickey 10 times. You said vagina once. Anyway, a guy with a strong but not overly muscular build may signal a better balance of stability, emotional maturity, and lower aggression. Traits more valuable in a partner or father figure. So here are a couple of things that they said women are attracted to in a physique. So it was the V-taper shape. So let's go down through our fella. So I picked a strong man, the crossfitter, the marathon runner. I picked the top three in our sport, which of course would have to be our own Big Z. The number one crossfitter was Matt Fraser apparently. And the number one marathon runner is Kelvin Keptum. Kelvin Keptum is some man to run. Now, I know the description is in the description, but Jesus Christ, he ran a marathon in 2 hours. Can you imagine running 26 miles in 2 hours? I genuinely don't think I'd cycle that. Even if I was asked to drive it, I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to drive 26 kilometers. So the V-tape shoulder. So let's just take a look at our Zydrunas saviscus first. So would Zydrunas saviscus have the V-taper shape? He has the V-taper, but it's kind of upside down, you know, because Big Z had an old tank in him full of the power. This is where the man stored the power. He was full of roundy power, and he just went up. I suppose he'd be like if SpongeBob took up a bit of strongman training. Big Z, unfortunately, didn't have any sort of a V-taper unless you turned him upside down his head, and he had a little bit of one that way. Lean, muscular build. Now, I have seen Big Z, so let's just look at the things, not necessarily bulky or bodybuilder size. Think of a swimmer athlete's physique. Let's not. So lean or muscular build. I've seen Big Z without his top on before. And I have to say, the man had veins in his abdomen. Now, a lot of you will blame the peptides and the drugs and everything else, but it wasn't. The man used to eat a lot of food, and as a strongman, you need to eat a lot of food. And when you're eating a lot of food, it has to sit somewhere, lads. You can't be shitting it all out. You know what I mean? Defined core and abs. I think yes, they were defined. I could see abs in Big Z. Strong upper body. Well, I mean, when we're talking about strong upper bodies, if you goggle the word strong upper body, I mean, you're going to see a picture of fucking Big Z. The man dominated upper body strength for 20 years. Even now, he's a retired strongman. I imagine he is still blasting 150 kilo logs and bars over his head quite easily. The man was gifted when it came to strength overhead. Of all his strengths, and he had a lot of them, overhead strength was his dominant one. Proportion and symmetry. Oh, Jesus, I don't know how to much proportion. Maybe, no, well, he did. You know, he had big legs, arms, stomach, chest. He was quite symmetry. I suppose balanced development of muscles matters more than size. So he was balanced. I mean, there was no small part. Even his calves were fucking... There's like the leg of a bull calf that you'd see, a Charolais bull, if any of you know cattle. Next, we have athletic and functional appearance. Big Z. Would Big Z be athletic? Very athletic, you know. The man was able to run. In World's Strongest Man, you'd have a competition that went on for days, or a Giants Live that went on for hours. So, was he athletic? He was very athletic. Functional appearance. He was functional. The appearance, to me, was spectacular. To a female looking for the ride, maybe not. You'd be thinking that man is going to destroy my pelvis. So possibly not. So let's go back to her. So that was it. There's 6 things they look for. Those are the 6 things. Let's compare our little CrossFitter, Matt Fraser. No, I think another thing as well here, right? Let's skip all that shit. The important thing here, right? Come on now, ladies. I know a couple of you are watching the YouTube channel. You have to chime in here, right? The main thing for the female, I think, is like their number one thing is height. If he is under the 6 foot mark, straight away, he's starting off with a middle of the ground. He's middling. If you have one more thing that doesn't stand for you after that, i.e., if you've 2 small W's, so if you've 2 small W's and you're under 6 foot, you're fucked. You might as well become gay, or I don't know, you'll have to find someone. It's a tough one. It's a hard position to be in. Now, look at strong. Our Big Z was 6'3" and 187 kilograms. The man just smelled of dominance. Fair play to him. Matt Fraser, CrossFitter, was 5'6". That's not huge, lads. It's not huge. There's a trophy over there, not far off of 5'6". So I'm hoping Matt Fraser, and you know, he is a very extremely popular and wealthy man because he dominated sport for a long time. So at least he's 1 W, which is the wallet. We don't know about the willy. Big Z, would Big Z have the willy? Possibly. May have seen it. Yeah, he would. And our marathon runner, Kelvin Kepton. Now, typically, our African friends are very well endowed with one of the W's, more so than us white fellas. Unfortunately for us, that's just unfortunate. So Kelvin Kepton was 180, which meant he was 5'10", so he's a good 4 inches longer than our CrossFitter, and I mean in height, in stature, lads, not the other fella. Okay, so don't be getting carried away. And he was 65 kg, which I found quite interesting. I thought he'd be lighter than that. If you're running marathons at fucking 2 hour pace, I thought you'd be lighter than that, because it's a lot of weight to be carrying for 2 hours. I just couldn't do it. So lads, we're gonna mark him 1 out of 3. So obviously I think Big Z just ticked all the marks. He had the dominance, he has the pile driver hips, he has the athleticism, he has the wallet, he has the willy. I don't see any downsides to Big Z, I'm afraid. I imagine Big Z is a hit with the ladies. Our CrossFitter Matt Fraser, 5'6", so he gets a point deducted there for the height. We haven't seen the willies, so we're going to have to middle ground there. Very wealthy, so he's 1W. What else do we give him? He's a good looking fella as well. He's good looking, he's in great shape, he has the V-taper and all that. I'm going to give him third place. Sorry, Matt Fraser. I'd have to give second place to our Kelvin Kepton, because you can imagine, right? Kelvin Kepton, here's just something that just dawned on me. Kelvin Kepton, possibly due to genetics for millions of years, probably has one big W, right? And he is able to go hard for a minimum of 2 hours. So for the ladies, if you're looking for the short term, you're thinking, I want to ride, and Kelvin over there has the willy and the ability to go for 2 hours. I mean, you're going to go for him, aren't you? Long term, I mean, the cunt can run for 2 hours. What more do you want? I mean, possibly our Kelvin could jump into first place with looking at those. I don't know, lads. Let me know what you think. Who would you rate 1 to 3? Or Big Z, Matt Fraser, Kelvin Kepton? Let's see what you think. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great... It's a bank holiday weekend here. I'm going to go now and I'm going to wash myself and I might go for a walkie. Who knows? I mean, to bring that little fella as well for a walk. Good day to you, lads. I hope you have a great weekend. Good luck to you.